Out of the blue. I went in this is even before the academic semester started. Father Joyce and Father Hesburgh called me in and said, we want to start this thing and you could be the director of it. And all of a sudden they're asking you to be a director of something you don't know anything about.
You didn't know anything?
What the hell do I know about academic advising? I mean, if you come in here and ask me about mechanical engineering, maybe I can tell you something about mechanical engineering. Anyway, the long and short of it is, I didn't know whether I even want to tackle something like that or even discuss it with Father Hesburgh and Father Joyce to find out whether I was even qualified for it. I came home and I asked Polly again what I should do. And I'll never forget that she said, who signs your check? So this is 1960. I was already here for about 10 years. I said, well, Father Joyce he's the vice president. He signed all the checks. And I didn't know why the hell she asked me that. Well, I found out later. Her theory was, if you didn't do what your president asked you to do you think he would ever ask you again for something? You know. And I said, well, probably not. So I went back and told Father Joyce that I would try it and learn what has to be done. But I'm going to try, if I can, to teach someone else to take over so that I could do it maybe so I signed a 5-year contract then. I said, I can do it for 5 years. But and then I asked him, I said, well, what would that involve as far as teaching assignments and so on and so forth? He said, oh, the academic advising, there's nothing to it. I said, oh, it isn't? What do I have to do? He said, right now, if kids need help, we try to arrange to have them meet with somebody that can help them in whatever subject it is that they need help in. He said, and they said, oh, but that's only a few people. Well, I thought of myself. I said, well, shit, I never needed any real help when I went to school. Our fencers were all pretty smart, and they didn't. So I equated that if we were elected to come to Notre Dame, that our admissions director, whoever was admitting these people, would be admitting people that didn't need help. They just needed to learn the things that would make them engineers and business and pre-med students and so on. So I said, okay, I'll take it and we'll see what happens. Well, then it didn't take long for the rocks shake the ship a little bit. And that's what happened with me, of course. That first semester, I used to meet with Father Joyce when I first started, just to learn what the hell I was supposed to do. And I always tried to do it to find out what the hell I was doing right or wrong, you know. And I would meet with him, and he says, well, how are things going? I said, well, Father, the first thing I did, even before that, I got on the phone. I knew I had a blank check. I could talk on the phone all day long. I must have called in a week or two, maybe a little longer, maybe 300 or 400 different schools. Some of them I knew right off the bat. Maybe about 40 or 50 of those schools I would know because of my association in fencing. I was already coaching full-time with the fencing. And there are others that I knew just personal personally, and I'd call the athletic directors, I'd call officers of the universities to find out if they have an academic advising program for their athletes. Then I couldn't find one school. I started with all the leagues, Ivy League, Big Ten, Big 12, this one, that one, as many as I could. And then people like schools like Pittsburgh, I called Pittsburgh, and I called University of Detroit. I knew people there. Everybody that I called, everybody said they didn't need it. I either thought I hit a gold mine where I'm going to get a job that I don't have to worry about, or something is haywire. Anyway, after the 2 or 3 weeks, I began to wonder, what the hell do I do in this? God, I don't need no other schools doing it.
So it's not like you had a model that you could follow.
No, there wasn't a model I can use as at least to start with. Anyway, so one way of doing it is I started after the first week calling each one. In the beginning, I only had football, maybe basketball also, football, basketball. I called them in, and I just sit them down just like we are here. I'd say, Dan, how are things going academically, and do you have any problems in any of the courses that you're taking? Not one student said they were having trouble with this, that, or the other thing. They all said essentially the same thing. Oh, Mr. DeChico, oh, no problem. No problem at all. I'm doing fine. Everybody was doing fine. Everybody had no problem. And I began to think that maybe Notre Dame was like all these other schools I called. There was no need for academic advising. So I went and met with Father Joyce this one week, and it was the week prior to mid-semesters. Pal, why don't you spend a little time with our girlfriend here?
Oh, no, she's fine. She's fine.
You sure?
Amanda, can you give me my jacket?
Oh, you want your jacket?
I want to give her Amanda, I'm gonna open the door for you for the car.
Well, what are you gonna do?
And she's gonna go get the other book.
Why? I want to read this.
Well, leave her alone.
Okay, all right, okay.
Anyway, so
Once I'm done, I'll do this.
I talked with him. I told him, I said, well, things are going fine, Father. I've already talked to quite a few students, just about all of them, and they all appear to be doing okay.
Is she allowed to have something like this?
Sure.
No, thank you.
You
No?
don't want
Oh.
any?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Well, all little girls like to eat candy and stuff. You don't want any candy?
That's like, what are
Popcorn.
they?
It's
You wanna
popcorn
try
with
one?
caramel?
You want to try one?
No. Okay.
Try. You don't want to even try one. You can take it home with you
She
if
doesn't
you don't
want it.
finish
She
it.
doesn't
No,
want it.
it's-
Don't insist.
Anyway, so and that's what I told Father. Everything is going fine. I said, just as an example, I just talked to Alan Page. He was here in my office this morning. This was the day before, and he's doing fine. I think most of the students are on top of things and they're getting the job done. That we had mid-semester, first time we had mid-semesters for these athletes, and I'm going to get copies of their, if they're not doing right. I come in the following, this was a Thursday. The following Tuesday was after they left for mid-semesters. I walked in because the mid-semester pink slips came out. I didn't even know what a pink slip was. I never needed one, never made out one, and I'm not even sure if I ever saw one. But pink slips were to tell the kids who needed help, that they were either flunking or getting D's, C's, and that they were doing it 100% for freshmen. Every teacher that every freshman had to submit their academic record up to the mid-semester. I get a call from Pat. What was Pat's name, pal? Father Joyce's secretary? It was it Pat Holmes or no Pat? No, that Pat Holmes is the academic advising. Pat Roth or something like that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Pat Roth. Pat calls me up and says, Mike, Father Joyce wants to see you. Wants to see me. This was the day before the mid-semesters came in. I said, okay. Well, before I went to see him, I went to my office. And in my office, I must have had a pile maybe about this high, all pink slips. I said, what the hell's going on there? I looked at the pink slips, and then guess what? Who was on the very top? Alan Page. I said, holy good Christ. I look at it, and it listed the course, the grades he was making, and he had 2 D's and an F. I said, this is the kid that just told me that everything was going good, not to worry about it. I was ready to hit the damn roof. I came home and I told Polly, I said, I may be the shortest tenured professor at Notre Dame that was fired from their job. And I told her what had happened, and she said, well, that's not unusual. He said, even our own kids, if I ask them how they're doing in school, everybody's doing okay. Mm-hmm. But then we have parent-teacher meetings. Mm-hmm. You go to them and they tell you that their son or daughter is not behaving in class, or they're not doing well here, not doing well there. Anyway, that's Notre Dame a long time ago.